and welcome to another edition of Your Bridge to Addiction Resources. My name is Jennifer Kaucher, and I'm your host for the show today, brought to you by the Council on Chemical Abuse and the People Chronicles. And today I have a member of the prevention team with me. Her name is Paige. And Paige, can you just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do at the council?
Sure, thank you for having me. I am a prevention specialist at Council on Chemical Abuse, and I have been with the council for about 4 years. I get to do many different things. I'm in the schools. I get to work with a community task force, basically to partner with the community in a school district in Kutztown to help prevent further tragedies of addiction in the school systems. And in the summer, we're out in playgrounds, we're at gym facilities, constantly trying to spread more prevention as much as possible.
Summer program. So when you're in the schools, what do you talk to the kids about? Is there a certain curriculum that you are doing in each of the schools?
Yes, very excited about it. This year I am working with a grant, and we are reaching 15 plus classes in the Reading School District. And the curriculum is an evidence-based curriculum called Botvin LifeSkills.
Yeah.
And I am working with all sixth graders in 2 middle schools right now.
Okay.
Yes.
So I did look a little bit up about life skills, because I'm on the prevention team, but I don't teach life skills because you have to go through a certification process, right? It's not like you just get the curriculum and you just go in a classroom.
No,
yeah.
no, you don't. There's definitely a training with it.
Okay.
And then recently, my supervisor and I are now it's called Trainer of Trainers for this curriculum. And we're now able to train teachers in the school districts, because our big thing with this grant and how prevention works, it needs to be consistent.
Yeah.
So you can't just have 1 year. You need to consistently grow the conversations as the kids grow.
Yeah.
So we're able to train the teachers to keep sustainability of the program.
That's great. And then, the teachers are with them on a daily basis then, because you are just there, it's like, is it 15 sessions?
It's 15 sessions.
So you're there for 15 weeks. Is it once a week? Does it vary on the school?
It varies on the school, and it also varies on the number of students you're trying to reach.
Yeah.
For me, with the large amount of students in the Reading School District, I'm there once a week per cycle. There's just so many. I'm actually technically in the school 3 times, but I'm only reaching each group of kids once a week.
Yeah, so that's great that you're working to teach the teachers too.
Yeah.
Because they're with the kids every day, and then they're learning.
Exactly.
Like my roommate's a teacher, and I'm sure she could benefit from that too, because then you learn. It sounds like life skills is more about, I was on their website and it's talking about how they're not just about the dangers of drug abuse either. They're they have a positive spin on things to empower kids to say no and how they can do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just simply talking about their self-esteem, talking about how to handle conflicts. There's conversations we don't really get to have in our schools because of the amount that is on the teachers' plates. So for us to be able to go in there and really have conversations about how to handle this, and it's okay to have anxiety, it's normal, here's what you can do about it. You're really providing them so many good life skills and resources.
Yeah, and it's really effective. We'll probably, I know one of the shows is going to be with Jackie, our prevention manager, so she's going to talk more about it too, but there's the research that shows that life skills training is one of the best, is the best choice, it sounds like, when it comes to evidence-based curriculum. And their website says it's proven to cut drug use by up to 75%, alcohol use by up to 60%, violence proven to cut verbal, physical aggression, fighting, and delinquency by up to 50%, and tobacco use by 87%. So it's a big deal, and it's really exciting to have this in the schools.
It is. It really is. The outcomes are fantastic. I've recently seen our outcomes in one of the school districts that another coworker has done this past school year, and it's just great to see that we are really doing a lot of benefit to the school.
So as a teacher, when you go into a school, what does a day look like? When you go into the classroom, because your first class, you have a pre-test, right?
Yes.
So can you talk to us about what your first day kind of looks like when you're talking to the kids?
Yeah, it's interesting. Every school is different, but you have to do a pre-test because that's how you get your outcomes. You start with a pre-test before they know any of the information, and then you start your lesson, and the first one is on self-esteem and self-image, and really talking about how we feel about ourselves really truly affects the way we behave. It affects the way we act, and really kind of discussing that with them and having them see that if I think positively about myself, I'm going to have stronger, better outcomes.
Yeah.
There's activities which makes it more enjoyable for the students, so it's not constantly talking. This year I've had about 30 minutes, so it makes it a little bit harder. I have to squeeze in some.
Yeah, that's a lot to do
that.
in 30 minutes.
It is, and it also allows us to have more sessions a little bit because of just the setup and the time. And try and get to know the students. I try and be real with them. I am an adult. I am teaching them this information.
Yeah.
However, I can still work on my own self-esteem. I still need to work on my own decision-making. I still need to work on how to appropriately be assertive.
Yeah.
So I just try and be as real as I can and say, this is stuff we always can practice.
Yeah.
You're not going to get it starting today just because we're talking about it. It's like we really have to practice at this.
Yeah, and being authentic with them.
Yes.
They can resonate with that. And I know I haven't taught life skills, but being in the classroom, they respond a little differently when you're a like special teacher.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, like
now
a
you're,
guest.
yeah, exactly. You're like the guest speaker, so it's kind of exciting because they know it's different than what they're normally learning.
Yes, exactly.
So that's great. So how has this impacted you personally, teaching life skills?
I'm sorry.
Professionally, yeah, like just what it's done for you.
I'd say personally and professionally, it just keeps me humble knowing that I do, even though I teach this, I still can work on this stuff like I had just mentioned. I constantly think about that and feel that way. And I just love the conversations I have with the students. It's curriculum and the program is something I did not have growing up. And I just constantly think, what if I had this? How different some of my friends' lives could have been. Different experiences could have been for me. And I love talking about how advertisements, the big tobacco, I love having conversations with the kids about that and how we're all tricked into buying different products to benefit just to get money.
Yeah, and I'm guessing, do they ask you a lot of questions too when you're in the classroom?
They do. They have some awesome questions.
That's good.
They're great. I'd say my favorite question, it's an upsetting question, but it makes such a big impact when we are talking about tobacco and when we're talking about electronic cigarettes. We get into a discussion later about how advertisement companies really are tricking the kids and they are reeling them in with all different avenues. So normally, almost every class, someone will say, well, why are they still allowed to sell these cigarettes? Why are they still allowed to advertise? And why are they doing it? And making that point that it's like, they're tricking you. You don't realize it, but here are prime examples of how they're getting you and tricking you.
Yeah.
And they get mad. They get really mad.
And they're sixth graders, right? And they're still like, the wheels are turning and they're getting it.
They're getting it. And seeing their faces, seeing that connection is like, I hope I got at least one student today.
Yeah, and we've heard stories, I'm sure you've had them too, with like one of our coworkers was in a school and I think it was a seventh grader, a senior asked him if he wanted a cigarette. Did you hear about this?
No.
Yeah, a senior asked a seventh grader who's doing life skills, and an upperclassman asked this seventh grader if he wanted a cigarette. He's like, no thanks. And he like was so excited because they just talked about refusal skills.
Wow.
And so we're hearing this on like a county level too. And I'm pretty sure I posted that on social media too. And like it got some reaction because what we're doing in Berks County and being in the classrooms is really an opportunity that isn't everywhere. And we're fortunate enough, to have the money to be doing this.
Exactly. That's why I think I am still young and new to the field. I'm forever growing and trying to educate myself, but I just feel so blessed to work for COCA the amount of resources we have, the amount that we do, how many kids we're reaching, just in one school district, let alone all of the others in the county. I'm blessed to work here.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way, because when I started, I mean, we have a lot of people on staff who are in classrooms and then doing stuff behind the scenes, but like, I had no idea how much we were doing. And then you come in and you're realizing we've got 4 staff that are in classroom, barely in the office, because they're constantly teaching, and how fortunate the kids are. But I learn from it too when I'm in the classroom. Like, it's a learning experience on both ends. So my last question is, if there's one thing, you probably already touched upon this, one thing that you want people to know about what we do, or life skills that maybe they don't know yet that we've talked about.
So one thing that we do, aside from life skills, that people might not know we do so much good work, and we all truly believe in all the work that we do. We advocate for recovery. I mean, talking about the disease of addiction is something that we try and do on all different levels, whether that's through teachers, whether that's with our kids, parents. I can't pick just one thing because we just do so much good work for all different populations and age groups, demographics. I feel that wherever there is a need, we're able to be creative and design a training, a presentation for whatever the need is. And I think that's really beneficial for our community and county.
And that's great for everyone to know that who does want education, we do have the ability to adjust to the community, and if it's students, if it's grandparents, if it's parents, like whatever they would like education on, we have that ability. So
we do. We absolutely do.
Well, thank you for joining and talking about life skills and your experience with COCA. Check back every week for a new story with your Bridge to Addiction resources. You can call 610-376-8669 or visit online at cocaberks.org. COCABERKS.org. Be sure to like and follow the Council on Chemical Abuse on Facebook and Twitter.